I've had NPCs about to patch somebody up and then get stabbed through. Thank you for saving my... Does that mean I'm still bleeding? Yes. Can I move? No. I'm going to die. Seems so. I don't celebrate the character's death, but the guy did die. Did die. Imagine you think you're like a fucking heartbeat away from fucking being safe. And then, like, I'm going to be safe. It's from an NPC the guy knows really well, so he's really upset at the guy dying, and then he's going to die with him. And the worst thing is, but he's been stabbed through, killed. His body drops on top of the guy who's bleeding to death. And the other characters don't know he's down. And he's now smothered. So he's going to die with his friend. Very fucking impactful. Like a very sad ending to a character. Now, the player knows I was being fair, because I'll give you every opportunity to live. I never look to push the character death on purpose. He knows I did everything, and he knew the enemy was aiming at that guy already. So it wasn't like he thought I was trying to get his character killed. There was an intent that the NPC was risking his life to save him. I just can't control when an enemy rolls a 20. And the NPC has like 2 hit points left. So 20, a lot of damage. Almost max damage rolled. The guy is dead. And the action to attack him will come before he gets the action to patch him up. And now understand, the enemy's not going to focus on the guy down bleeding under him. He's going to turn around to the other guy still up fighting. He ends him, rips his weapon out, body drops on top of the fucking bleeding character. Sorry, dude. That's a brutal ending. It's a brutal ending, but that's how it ended. Now, the player was completely, actually, as emotional as it was, he loved the brutality, but he loves the game didn't cheat him. And my players were always happy because they never felt like I did it on purpose. They knew I gave every opportunity. They never felt like the game cheated them. They never felt like I cheated them. And that, for players that are picky, they just don't want to die in a way they feel like it's undeserved or unfair. So when players lose their characters, I've always gotten good reactions because it's always under conditions that they feel everything. Because even the NPC risking his life to save him was something I had to, like, if he doesn't risk his life, the guy's going to die anyway. He's at -9, he's going to hit -10. Like, we got character death coming if the NPC doesn't patch him up. So I'm doing everything I possibly can as a game master to justify saving this guy in every option that could be taken. And that was how it had to go down. So, dude, he dies, you watch him die, and then you die. That was a brutal character death. Now, I'm only talking about that one because that happened like 2 years ago. That was recent. There's been tons of those brutal character deaths I've encountered throughout the game. People will look at me and they're like, man, you're running second edition. It's a soft game. I'm like, not when I'm running it. It doesn't mean it's a meat grinder either. But don't get it wrong. We get down to character death. It feels as brutal as any other old school game. Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. But here's what I say, Smash 2. If you have no connection to a character, if you can't connect with your character, if you're one of these fucking meat grinding people that don't know how to play D&D right, that it's about survival, that you're supposed to avoid combat from levels 1 to 3, and you don't connect with your character, and you just play, your name is Tom, but you play Tom the Fighter, Tom the Cleric, get the fuck out of my game. Get the fuck out of my game. You'd be like, why? Because, well, I'm a second edition. I want you to connect with your character. And I don't want a child. I don't want you crying when you lose a character. But you're not just losing a character, you're losing an experience. I want there to be a connection. I want you to give a fuck. But I want you to be mature enough that that's cool. Part of the game. And like you said, it's fun to roll with the next character. But if you're a meat grinder guy who does not know how to play D&D properly, you run the fights carelessly from levels 1 to 3, which the designers do not want you to do. Remember, it's a game about survival initially. You don't really become a hero till level 9. Right? So from levels 1 to 3, even fighting the goblins is, if you can avoid it, you avoid it. And what you do is you try to get gold to XP. You try to get treasure so you can get enough experience from your treasure, and then you use, to make sure you don't get blown up by treasure, you use that to pay for your training. You level up, you get to level 3. That's why Gary starts a lot of his games at level 3, not to make you go through that at a certain point. But levels 1 to 3 is avoid combat. I mean, not just the dragon. Everything. Avoid the goblins if you can. Avoid the kobolds, because you're not meant to fight. It's a survival game. By the time you hit level 9, like I used to tell players, and I still tell players today, I always tell them, they're like, we're here to play heroes. I'm like, well, if you are, the game doesn't start till level 9. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're not capable of being a hero until level 9. You can't go save the village from the dragons until you're level 9. Like, if you try, you'll likely die. You are a farmer. So from levels 1 to 3, you got to go from farmer to somebody who can handle themselves. Then from level 3, like going up to about level 7, you're working to become somebody established. Once you get to the point where you can establish yourself, level 7 to 9, you're building up a reputation. By level 9, your reputation hits, you can be a hero and people acknowledge it. You'll get followers. At level 9, you're way more capable. The village says, we're being attacked by a dragon, we need a hero. Well, now you can go fight. And remember, high-level gaming is not like grinding a dungeon. A lot of guys say high-level gaming is bad or they can't run it right. I'm like, just like, you can't run it right. Because at level 9, players are allowed to be more picky and choosy about what they fight. The fights aren't all the time. And experience can come from the way you deal with factions, the way you deal with other leaders, your role play. You can get more major treasure now. So now you get bigger treasure. Your ways of getting experience heightens. Right? And most experience is not needed to get gotten from monsters. Most experience can get gotten from other ways. That's why getting gold to XP early is a major thing. I remember old school guys that didn't understand D&D, they'd be like, man, I think gold XP is stupid. I'm like, well, let me guess. You make your players make up 4 to 5 characters and they fight a lot from levels 1 to 3? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's not what the designers intend. They intend players to learn that from levels 1 to 3, they shouldn't fight at all. And the reason gold to XP is a thing is so you can actually gather up through treasure the experience points you need to level up. And that's why they're so low XP on monsters. Because the intention that you level up through monsters or fighting is not really there. Actually, you get XP for avoiding fights. And so from levels 1 to 3, in reality, the majority of combat that you can skip as a player and survive. Go into the dungeon, avoid stupid things, get your treasure, get out, get some gold, get out, get some gold, get out. You do that, and you fighting almost at early level should look at as consequences, and to the point even mistakes, because it's resource draining. Right? Now, once you know this as a D&D person, you realize if players play more to the survival factor, because remember it's called survival, they don't always have to make up 4 to 5 characters. Doesn't mean character death can't come, doesn't mean the game's not sensitive, but you might only have to make up a second character. Right? You might not have to go through fucking 5 characters. And you shouldn't be running into fights. Now, early on, if you're new players, that's a learning process. Maybe on that first campaign, you got to go through 3 characters or so, learning that you should not just carelessly run at the goblins. But I was talking about the feel of the game like Bill, you would get this. If somebody tells you it's raining in the game, and there's no other details, you know there's something lost there. But if I tell you it's raining in the game, Bill, and then I tell you that you can smell the damp smell coming off the ground, and I don't spend too much time with this. It's not like an overkill. I tell you that damp smell is coming up to your nose, and you feel a couple of raindrops hit your skin. You can feel a little bit rolling down your cheek. I leave it at that. It's not much, but that feels like it's raining, right? Like the good players get it. They get that that's important. That's little seeds of feel and smell. Because what I'm doing is I'm not spending too much time. It's not overkill. I'm not trying to oversell it to you. But I'm bringing you into the experience, right? So it's very important that small things like that are done. A lot of new school DMs, that's what I was explaining to Miles, is they don't know what to do that. They might tell you it's raining, but I'm like, it's a small thing. That little droplet, that little skin feel is important. The damp smell you smell, maybe if you're out in the woods and it's raining, that smell you smell hits your nose. Don't spend too much time on it because, Bill, you know this. Your imagination is stronger than anything I could even try to play with. So if I keep talking, I get in the way of your imagination. Right? And this is what I was explaining to Miles. You read a book, Bill, you know what I mean. If you read a book, you know how strong your imagination is. I don't need to do much. I plant a small half a second seed in your mind. You will take care of the rest. I don't got to do much after that. It's just that little bit of feel, like, because you get the smell, the skin. Things are relatable too. Very minor details. Said really quick to you, but it's going to be said in a way, here it is. You're going to feel that. Once you have a game master doing that for you, that will do stuff like that for you so you can feel a scene, be in character. If you get to another game where after you had that experience and a game master doesn't do that for you, you'll know. And you'll realize just how valuable it is. Minor things, very minor, but how valuable it is to experience the world and be in character where a game master is doing that type of small stuff for you, and then get into a game where it's not. Or my teaching of game masters to never do long-winded speeches if you're explaining a room, if you're detailing out a room, because players they play the game with their imagination, as I said to Miles, and players really do. They play the game with their imagination. They're playing. And I'm like, you don't want to oversell or keep being too poetic, because then a player will start trying to paint the room in a specific way that you're looking for instead of the way that they're going to naturally do it with their own imagination. I give details. I mean, I might tell you the color of the room. Might even tell you if there is a specific smell, but it's only because there's a specific smell. But I'll be very to the point. I don't spend a lot of time, no long-winded poetic speeches at all. I just give you the details because I know you will take care of the rest. Right? Your mind, you'll imagine, because you're playing the game with your imagination. It's strong. I don't need to do much. And I said to DMs, I said to game masters, well, say you don't do long poetic speech. Ask your players afterwards if they cared or if they even noticed it was an issue. They won't. They'll actually be very happy. You'll be like, well, I never said anything impressive. I just gave you the details. Yeah, well, they're playing the game. That's all they need. And so it's like trying to sell something like a spooky atmosphere to someone. Never tell them it's spooky. Never try to oversell. It's like I was telling Miles. If I tell you you're walking down a path in the forest late at night, like it's in the night, and you like maybe have a lantern, you have a little bit of, I say you have a little bit of light around you, it's forest on either side, it's black, pitch black, you can't see anything in the forest. You might be able to see one star up in the sky because it's really black right now, really dark, and you have a little bit of light around you and you're moving forward. That's all. I don't gotta say it's spooky. I don't gotta say anything else. And then if at one point I might say you hear like a tree branch snap. Uh-oh. And I know you just by giving the details, because these are details that you would assume would be in a scene like that. But I don't get a poetic or it up. I don't get a oversell. Those details, and then at one point I mentioned you hear a noise like that. You have that all taken care of. Because you know what it's like to be black on either side. You can't see anything. you'll paint that you'll take care of all the imagination for me. I don't got to oversell. I don't got to do nothing. That will be spooky. That would be scary. But I never had to say it. I never had to be poetic about it. I never had to oversell it to you. Right? But it takes a little bit for game masters to learn this stuff. Because it's all about we're manipulating, so you got to learn your what you're doing over time. Sometimes you'll sit there. I remember for like the first couple of years, I did these long-winded speeches, and I would talk to players afterwards, like, so, and then I might not. Then I just had a few nights there. I remember like after like a year and a half, not like a whole full 2 years, but I remember one night where I was like, I was really tired, and a few of the rooms I gave details, and I would watch the players really react well to the room. Like playing it. Okay, never oversold that one. I asked him afterwards. I was like, yeah, no problem with that. So then I start taking more of that approach, being more simple. And I read a lot, and I said, when am I reading? Am I needing? Oh, wow, wait. It's like I bring it all together. And at one point, I just sort of figured out, I'm not going to do this. And then I had about 2 nights there where I cut it completely off. No more poetic, no more long speeches, no more nothing. I did 2 nights, and I asked players after a couple nights, how much fun did you have? And they were like, it was fucking exciting. And they even gave me hints, like they had an easier time playing to their imagination when I wasn't giving too many details. I was like, oh yeah, you're playing the game. Oh, that's fucking right, dude. You're playing the game with your mind, right? Yeah, and then I realized, so the more I talk, the more I get in the way of you playing the game.